into the best room. There we have my host with his old stories. I fly to the gallery. There we have my hostess with her curtsy down to the ground. At last I have a moment to myself. And now for some reflection.
Did you want to call? Did you call, sir?
As for Miss Hardcastle, she's too grave and sentimental for me.
Did you call, sir?
No, child. Besides, from the glimpse I had of her, I think she squints. Oh!
I'm sure, sir, I heard the bell ring.
No. I have, however, pleased my father by coming down, and I shall tomorrow please myself by returning.
Perhaps the other gentleman called.
I tell you, no.
I'm sure, sir, I would be glad to know it. We have such a parcel of servants.
No, I tell you. Oh, why, yes, my dear. I think I did call. I say, child, you are vastly handsome.
La, sir, you make me blush.
I never saw a more sprightly, mischievous eye. Yes, my dear, I did call. Have you got any of your, what do you call it in the house?
No, sir. We've been out of that these 10 days.
Oh, I find one can call in this house to very little purpose. Suppose I were to call for a taste, just by way of trial, of the nectar of your lips. Perhaps I will be disappointed in that, too.
Nectar. That's a liquor there's no call for in these parts. French, I suppose. We sell no French wines here, sir.
Of true English growth, I assure you.
Then it is odd I should not know it, for we brew all sorts of wines in this house. And I've lived here these 18 years.
18 years? Why, child, one would think that you kept bar before you were born. How old are you?
Oh, sir, I should not tell you my age. They say women and music should never be dated.
Well, to guess at this distance, I would say you can't be much above 40.
Oh!
But nearer, I don't think so much. By coming closer to some women, they look younger still. But when we come very close indeed.
Please keep your distance. They would say you wanted to know one's age, as they do horses, by mark of mouth.
I protest, madam. You use me ill. If you were to keep me at this distance, how is it that you and I can ever be acquainted?
Who says I want to be acquainted with you? I want no such acquaintance, not I. I'm sure you didn't act in this manner with Miss Hardcastle, who was here before. No, I'll warrant me. Before her, you looked bashful and kept staring at the ground, and looked for all the world as for a justice of peace.
Egad, she has hit it, sure enough. In awe of her child? No, she is a mere awkward, squinting thing. No, I believe you don't know me. I laughed and jollied her up a little, but I was unwilling to be too familiar. No, I could not be too familiar, curse me.
Then you are a favorite, sir, among the ladies.
Oh, yes, a great favorite. Why, at the ladies' club in town, I am known as the Agreeable Rattle. Rattle is not my real name, child, but one I'm known by. My name is Solomons.
Oh.
Mr. Solomons, at your service.
Then you are a great favorite at this club, I suppose.
Oh, yes, there's Miss Mantrap, old Betty Blackleg, the Countess, old Miss Biddy Buckskin, and your humble servant. We keep up the spirit of the place.
Then it is a very merry place, I suppose.
Oh, yes, as merry as cards, supper, wine, and old women can make it.
And their agreeable rattle.
Gad, is she making fun of me? She looks knowing, methinks. You laugh, child.
I laugh to think of them. I wonder what time they have left for minding their
as well. She don't laugh at me. Do you ever work, child?
Sure. There's not a tapestry or quilt in the whole house, but what can bear witness to my skill with the needle and thread?
Really? Well, you must show me your embroidery then. If you want to judge of your work, you must apply to me.
Aye, sir, but the colors do not fit so well by the candlelight. You shall see all in the morning.
Oh, and why not now, my angel? Your beauty lights fires in me beyond my power to resist. Oh, but here's the innkeeper. My old luck. I never roll a 7 at dice, but what, I throw 3 losing games in a row?
So, madam, this is your modest lover? This is your bashful admirer that kept his eyes fixed on the ground and only adored you from a humble distance? Kate, Kate, why must you deceive your father so?
Trust me, Papa. He is still the same modest man I first took him for. You will be convinced of it, I promise you.
It seems his impertinence is infectious. Didn't I see him seize your hand? Didn't I see him whirl you about like a milkmaid? And now you talk of his respect and of his modesty?
If I can convince you of his modesty, show you that he has faults that will only pass away with time, and virtues that will improve with age, will you forgive him?
Girl will drive me mad, I tell you. I shall not be convinced. I am convinced he has scarce been here 3 hours, and he has already taken advantage of my kindness. You may like his impudence and call it modesty, but my son-in-law, madam, must have some very different qualifications.
Sir, give me but this night to convince you.
He shall not have half that time. I am thinking of turning him out this very hour.
Give me that hour then.
All right, very well. 1 hour, but there will be no trifling with your father. All fair and above board. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I will obey your commands while revealing to you his true merits.
You surprised me. Sir Charles Marlowe expected here tonight. Why didn't you get this information?
It's true. I just saw his letter to Mr. Hardcastle. Sir Charles writes that he intends to start out a few hours after his son.
Oh, well, then we must carry out our plan before he arrives. He knows me, and if he finds me here, he might guess that we plan to escape.
The jewels, I hope, are safe.
Yes, I've left them with Marlowe, who has the keys to our baggage. In the meantime, I'll go prepare for our escape. I have your cousin Tony's promise of a fresh pair of horses. If I don't see him again, I will write him further instructions.
I wish you success. Us success. In the meantime, I'll go amuse my aunt with the old pretense of a violent passion for my cousin.
Why would Hastings leave such a valuable casket with me? Why would he give it to me to keep for him when he knows the only place I have to conceal it is in the seat of a post coach? Oh, have you given the casket I gave you to the landlady? Did you put it into her own hands?
Yes, Your Honor.
And she said she'd keep it safe, did she?
Yes, she said she'd keep it safe enough. She asked me how I came about it, and she said she had mind to make me bear witness of it myself.
Well, just to safe at least. But what a strange bunch of beings there are at this inn. That little barmaid runs through my mind so strongly, though. She drives out all the absurdities of all the rest of the family. She's mine. She must be mine. I'm greatly mistaken.
I quite forgot to tell Constance that I intend to meet her at the bottom of the car. Oh, look, it's Marlowe in good spirits, too.
Oh, George! Give me joy. Crown me with laurels. It seems we modest fellows don't lack for success among the women after all.
Ah, some women, you mean. But what success has your modesty managed that leaves you so bold and cheerful?
Did you see the tempting, brisk, lovely little thing with a bunch of keys to its girdle?
Well, so what?
She's mine, you rogue, you. Such fire, such motion, such eyes, such lips. Oh, but egad, she would not let me kiss them.
Well, why are you so sure of her?
Why, man, she talked of showing me her embroidered quilts, and I am to judge their word.
How can you rob this woman of her honor, Charles?
Pshaw. We all know the honor of a barmaid at an inn. Besides, I don't intend to rob her. Take my word for it. There is not a thing in this house that I shan't honestly pay for.
But I believe this girl has virtue.
And if she does, I would be the last man in the world to corrupt it.
You've taken care, I hope, of the casket I sent you? Is it safe?
Yes, yes, it is safe enough. But how can you think it would be safe beneath a coach seat? Numbskull, I have taken better precautions for you than you did for yourself. I have sent it to the landlady to keep for you.
To the landlady!
Yes, the landlady.
You did!
I did. She will answer for its safety and bring it forth when you call for it.
Yes, so bring it forth with a witness.
Wasn't I right? I believe you'll find that I acted wisely on your behalf.
You must now see my uneasiness.
You seem disconcerted, I think.
Oh.
Surely nothing is wrong.
No, nothing is wrong at all. I've never been in better spirits in all my life. And so you left the casket with the landlady, who no doubt very eagerly agreed to take it.
Rather too readily, for she not only kept the casket, but she threatened to keep the messenger, too.
My hopes of fortune are gone. Well, Charles, I'll leave you to your meditations on the pretty barmaid, and I hope that you are successful for yourself, as you have been for me.
Oh, thank you, George.
dear.
I ask no more.
I live in my own house no longer. It's turned all topsy-turvy. The servants are already drunk. I can bear it no longer. And yet, out of respect to his father, I'll be calm. Mr. Marlowe, your servant, sir. I am your very humble servant.
Well, your humble servant. What's he want now, I wonder?
I believe, sir, you will agree, sir, that no man ought to be more welcome than your father's son. Sir, I hope you think so.
I do, sir. I generally make my father's son welcome wherever he goes.
Yet, I say nothing of your own conduct, but that of your servants is insufferable. Their manner of drinking is setting a very bad example in this house, I assure you.
I protest, sir. If they don't drink as they ought, they are to blame, not me. I ordered them not to spare the spirits. I did, I assure you. My directions to them were that since I did not imbibe myself, that they should make up for my lack of drinking with their own.
Then he had your orders for what they do? I'm satisfied. I begin to lose my patience.
I told them to drink as much as they wanted. I don't know what more you'd have, my old friend, unless you'd have them cart off the beer barrels.
Zounds, the man will drive me to distraction. I cannot contain myself any longer. Mr. Marlowe, sir, I have submitted to your insolence for more than 4 hours, and I see no likelihood of it coming to an end. I am now resolved to be master here in my house, sir, and I direct you that you and your drunken pack leave my house directly.
Leave your house? Surely you jest. What? When I'm doing what I can to please you?
Well, I tell you, sir, you do not please me, so I direct you to leave my house.
Surely you're not serious. At this time of night? And on such a dark and moonless night, too? Surely you're joking with me.
I tell you, sir, I am serious, and now that my passions are roused, I tell you this house is mine, sir. This house is mine, and I command you to leave it now.
Your fit of passion is nothing more than a puddle in a storm. I shan't stir a step, I assure you. This is your house, fellow? Why, it's my house. This is my house. Mine. Why I choose to stay? What right have you to bid me to leave this house? I never met with such impudence. Curse me, never before in my life.
Nor I, confound me if I ever did, to come to this house to call for what you like, to turn me out of my own chair, to insult the family, and to order your servants to get drunk, and then to tell me this house is mine, sir. It makes me laugh. Ha, ha, ha. as you take the house, well, think you of taking the rest of the furniture. Here's a silver candlestick, brazen bellows, and here is a brass monkey you may take a fancy to.
Bring me your bill, sir. Bring me your bill, and let's have no more words about it.
And here's a portrait of my poor departed old mother. Maybe you'd like that to hang in your own apartment, sir.
Bring me my bill, I say, and I shall leave you and your infernal house directly.
Oh, well, here's a mahogany table you may take a fancy to.
My bill, I say.
Oh, I forgot. The great chair by the fire for you to nap in after a hearty meal.
Bring me my bill, and let's have no more words on it.
Young man, from your father's letter, I was told to expect a well-bred, modest young man as a visitor. But I found him to be no better than an impudent dog and a bully. Your father will be here presently, and he's going to hear more of your conduct.
How's this? Surely I have not mistaken the house. Everything looks like an inn. The servants call out, coming. The service is awkward. And there's the barmaid, too, to serve us. But here she is. I will question her. Child, where do you go? I would like a word with you.
Let it be short then, I'm in a hurry. I believe he's beginning to find out his mistake, but it is too soon to undeceive him.
Child, answer me a question. Who are you, and what is your business in this house?
A relation of the family, sir.
What, a poor relation?
Yes, sir. A poor relation appointed to keep the keys, and to see that guests want nothing in my power to give them.
That is, you act as the barmaid of this inn.
Inn? Oh, Lord, what put that in your head? One of the best families in the county keep an inn. Oh, Mr. Hardcastle's house an inn.
Mr. Hardcastle's house? Child, is this Mr. Hardcastle's house?
Aye, sure. Whose else should it be?
Oh, so the truth is out, and I have been frightfully deceived. Oh, confound my stupid head. I shall be laughed at all over the whole town. I shall be stuck up in caricature in all the print shops. The Dolissimo macaroni. To mistake this house of all others for an inn, and my father's old friend for an innkeeper. Oh, what a swaggering puppy must he take me for? What a silly puppy do I find myself. Forgive me, madam, but I mistook you for the barmaid.
Dear me. Dear me! I'm sure there's nothing in my character to put me on a level with one of that sort.
Nothing. Nothing, my dear, nothing. I have been tricked into a long list of blunders, including mistaken beliefs about you. My stupidity saw everything the wrong way. I mistook your attention for attraction, and your simplicity for enticement. But it's over. I shall no longer show my face in this house.
I hope, sir, I've done nothing to upset you. I'm sure I should be sorry to upset any gentleman who's been so polite and said so many civil things to me. I'm sure I should be sorry if he left the family on my account. I'm sure I should be sorry if people said anything amiss. Because the only fortune I have is my character.
By heaven, she weeps. This is the first mark I ever had from a modest woman. And it touches me. Excuse me, my lovely girl, but you are the only member of the family that I leave with reluctance. But to be plain with you, the difference between our birth, fortune, and education make an honorable connection between us impossible. And I could never think of seducing innocence that trusted in my honor. I could never bring fault upon one whose only fault was being too lovely.
Generous man. I now begin to admire him. But my family is as good as Miss Hardcastle.
Why now, my pretty child?
Because it puts me at a distance from one that if I had 1,000 pounds, I would give it all to.
Her charm bewitches me so much that if I stay, I am undone. I must make a bold effort and leave her. Your kind words touch me deeply, and were I to live only for myself, I could let my heart make its choice this instant, but I owe too much to the opinion of the world, too much to the authority of a father that I can't. Forgive me, I can hardly speak. I must take my leave. Farewell, my lovely.
I never knew half his merit until now. He shall not go. If I have power, ardor, virtue, I will retain the character in which I stoop to conquer. But I will tell my papa. Maybe he can laugh my young gentleman out of his resolution.
Aye, you may steal them for yourself next time. I have done my duty. She has the jewels again, that's for sure. But she thinks it was all a mistake of the servants.
My dear cousin, surely you won't forsake us. If she even suspects that I'm running away, I shall certainly be locked up. Or sent to my Aunt Pettigrew's, which is 10 times worse.
Aye, aunts of all kinds are damn bad things. But what can I do? I've got you a pair of horses that will fly like whistle-jacking. And I know you can't say it, but I've courted you nicely before her face. Here she comes. We must court a bit or two more for fear she might suspect us.
Well, I was greatly flustered to be sure. But Tony tells me it was all a mistake of the servants. I shan't be truly at ease until they are actually married, and then let her keep her own fortune. Oh, what do I see? Chattering away together as I live. Oh, I never saw Tony so sprightly. Have I caught you, my pretty doves? Oh, exchanging stolen glances and broken murmurs.
As for murmurs, Mother, we grumble a little now and then, to be sure. But there's no love lost between us.
Oh, a mere fanning of the flame to make the fire burn brighter.
Cousin Tony promises us more of his company at home. Indeed, he shan't leave us anymore. You won't, Cousin Tony, will you?
Oh! It's a pretty creature. No, I'd sooner leave my best horse in the pond than leave when you smile upon me so. Your laugh is so becoming.
Oh, agreeable cousin. Who can help admiring that natural humor, that pleasant, broad, red, thoughtless? Ah, it's a bold face.
Pretty innocence.
And I'm sure I always loved Cousin Con's hazel eyes, and her long fingers that she twists this way and that over the harpsichord keys.
Ah, he would beguile the birds from the trees. I was never so happy. My boy takes after his father, poor Mr. Lumpkin, that sweet-talking charmer. The jewels shall be yours directly, my dear. You shall have them. Oh, isn't he a sweet boy? Oh, you should be married tomorrow. We can put off the rest of his education until a later time.
Where's the squire? I have a letter for your worship.
Who does it come from?
I was ordered to give it directly into your hands.
Give it to Mama. She reads all my letters first.
Oh no.
I was ordered to give it directly to you.
I don't want it.
Undone. A letter to him from Hastings. I know the hand. If Brown sees it, we will be completely ruined. I must distract her if I can. But I have not told you, madam, of my cousin's smart response just now to Mr. Marlowe. We laughed so. You must know, madam. Come this way, for he might hear us.
A damn cramped piece of penmanship as I ever saw in my life. Anthony Lupkin Esquire. It's odd. I I can read my own name well enough and the front of the letter, but when I come to open it up, it's all buzz. It's hard, very hard, because the inside of the letter is always the cream of the correspondence.
Very well, very well. And so my boy was too hard for the philosopher.
Yes, but you must know the rest, madam. Oh, come this way, he must not hear us. You'll hear how we puzzle him again.
He looks rather puzzled now, methinks.
A damned up and down hand, as if penned in a drunken haze. Dear sir, I, that is that. And then there's a T, and an S, and an M. But whether the next part be an izzard or an R, confound me, I could not tell.
What's that, my dear? Can I be of assistance?
Yes, let me read it. No one reads a cramped hand better than I. Who is it from?
Not sure. Perhaps Dick Ginger, the brewmaster.
Ah, so it is. Dear Squire, I hope you are in health as I am at present. The gentlemen of the Cock-a-Doodle-Doo Club have cut the gentleman of Goose Green quite a feather. The odds, odd battle, long fighting. Oh, here. It's all about cocks and fighting, it's of no consequence. Put it up.
Oh,
Put it up.
but it's of great consequence to miss, and I wouldn't miss it for the rest of the world. Here, Mother, you read it. Of no consequence.
Oh, let's see. How's this? Dear Squire, I am waiting for Miss Neville with a postchaise and a pear at the bottom of the garden, but I find my horses are still too tired to make the journey. I beg your assistance with a fresh pair of horses as you promised. Departure is necessary for the hag. Hag! Your mother shall otherwise suspect us. Yours, Hastings. Oh, grant me patience. Oh, I shall go mad. My rage chokes me.
I hope, madam, you'll suspend your anger and not assign me any involvement or sinister design that rightfully belongs to another.
Very well spoken, madam. You are most miraculously polite, quite the pink of courtesy and properness. As for you, you ill-bred buffoon, who with scarce enough sense to keep your mouth shut, were you two joined against me? Well, I'll defeat all your plots in a moment. As for you, madam, since there is a pair of fresh horses, it would be cruel to disappoint them. So, instead of running away with your spar, prepare this moment to run off with me. Your old Aunt Pettigrew shall keep you secure, I'll warrant. As for you, sir, you may mount your horse and guard us upon the way. Oh, Pim! Diggory! Beth! Oh, you shall see. You shall see that I want better for you than you do for yourselves.
So now I am completely ruined.
Aye, that's a sure thing.
What else could I have expected from trusting such a stupid fool after all the signs and nods and winks I gave?
Again, Miss, it was your own cleverness and not my stupidity that cooked your goose. You were so believable with your cock-a-doodle-doo club and goose greens that I couldn't tell you were play acting.
So, sir, I am told by my servant that you have revealed my letter and betrayed us. Was this well done?
Ah, here's another blockhead. Oh, ask Miss there who betrayed you. Again, it was her doing, not mine.
So, I have been used for sport by all of you. Rendered contemptible, driven into ill manners, despised, insulted, laughed at.
Ah, here's another raving madman. We shall have old Bedlam broke loose presently.
And here, sir, is the person responsible for this situation. Every misunderstanding can be traced back to his foolish prank.
What can I say to him, a mere boy, an idiot whose age and ignorance are our protection? A contemptible, disgraceful scallywag.
Yet with cunning and malice enough to make himself merry with our embarrassments.
An insensible boy, full of tricks and mischief.
Bah! Damn! I'll fight you both. One after the other.
Sympathy's below resentment. Your conduct, Mr. Hastings, requires an explanation. You saw me making a fool of myself, and yet you said nothing.
As distressed as I am with my own disappointments, this is hardly the time for accusations, Mr. Marlowe.
But
Mr. Marlowe, we wanted to tell you of your mistake, but it was too late to undeceive you.
The mistress asks that you prepare to leave immediately, madam. The horses are pulling up. We're to go 30 miles before morning.
I'll come presently.
was it well done, sir, to help this scoundrel make me look ridiculous? To hang me out to the scorn of all my acquaintances? Sir, I demand an explanation!
Well, sir, since we are insisting on explanations, was it well done to give the chest I entrusted you into the care of another, sir?
Mr. Hastings, Mr. Marlowe, why will you increase my distress with this pointless quarrel? I implore you, I entreat you.
Your cloak, madam. My mistress is impatient.
I'm coming. Gentlemen, I beg you to stop. If I leave you like this, I shall die of worry.
Your fan, muff, and gloves, madam. The horses are waiting.
Mr. Marlowe, if you knew what a life of constraint and misery await me, I'm sure it would soften your anger into pity.
I'm so distressed, I don't know what I'm saying. Forgive me, madam. Forgive me, George. You know my hasty temper. It was reckless of you to provoke it.
The agony of my own situation is my only excuse.
My dear Hastings, if you love me the way I think, the way I know you do, your constancy for 3 years will only bring more happiness to our future union.
Miss Neville! Constance! Constance, I say!
Constancy. Remember, constancy is the word.
How can I bear this? To be so near happiness and have it snatched away.
Do you see now, young man, the effects of your folly? What is fun to you is heartache and grief to others.
Hey, Gads, I've hit on a plan. It's up here. Your hands. Yours. You and yours. Oh, my poor horse. Diggory! My boots. Ho!
Ho!
Ho? Meet me 2 hours from now at the bottom of the garden. And if you do not find Tony Lumpkin a more agreeable fellow than you previously thought, then I give you leave to take my best horse and hunting hound into the bargain. Now come along then! My boots! Ho!
Ho!
So, sir, you saw the old lady and Miss Neville drive off, you say?
Yes, Your Honor. They went off in carriage, and the young squire went off by horseback. They're 30 miles out by this time.
Well, then all my hopes are gone.
Yes, sir. Charles is here now, and he and my master have been laughing at Mr. Marlowe's mistake for this past half hour. Here they come.
They must not be seen. The young squire told me to meet him at the bottom of the garden. It's pointless now, but I'll go anyway.
Oh, I tell you.
Ah, yes.
Oh, the commanding tone of voice in which he gave me orders.
Ah, you say he treated every attempt at friendship with a cool reserve.
Yes, but you would think that he could sense that I was more than just a common innkeeper.
Ah, but Dick, he mistook you for an uncommon innkeeper.
Well, I'm in too good spirits to think of anything but joy, my dear friend. The union of our families shall cement our personal friendship. And though my daughter's fortune is not quite as large as...
Dick, my son has fortune enough and needs nothing but a good and virtuous girl to share in his happiness. If they like each other, as you say they do.
If I tell you they do. She is, my daughter as good as told me so herself.
Ah, but girls often flatter themselves, you know.
Oh, I saw him grasp her hand in affection myself. Well, here he comes now to set your mind at rest. You shall see.
I come, sir, to ask forgiveness once more for my rude behavior. I am embarrassed beyond words.
Tut boy, a trifle. You make too much of it. Oh, just an hour or two laughing with my daughter will make everything right again. She'll never hold your misunderstanding against you or like you any less for it.
Sir, I will always be grateful for her cordialness.
Cordialness? Cordial is kind of a cruel word, isn't it, Mr. Marlowe? If I'm not deceived, your relationship is more than merely cordial, wouldn't you agree?
Sir, I don't know what you are suggesting.
Oh, come, boy. I'm an old fellow, but I know what's what as well as you young lads. I know what sly signs of affection have passed between you and my daughter. We need not speak of it.
Really, sir? Nothing has passed between us except respect on my side and reserve on hers. You don't think, sir, that my brashness has been forced on all the rest of the family?
Oh, I respect your discretion. Come, man, there's nothing wrong in a lively attraction. Girls like to be teased and rumpled a little sometimes. She has not complained, I assure you.
I never gave her the slightest cause.
I like modesty well enough, but this is overacting. Try confessing your attraction. Be open, your father and I will like you all the better for it.
Sir, may I die, sir? If I ever...
I tell you, she does not dislike you as you do like
Sir,
her.
dear sir, I protest, sir.
I see no reason why you should not be married as soon as the parson can tie you.
But hear me, sir.
Well, your father approves the match, as do I. Every moment's a delay is only courting trouble, so I believe...
But hear me, sir. By all that's just and true, I never gave Miss Hardcastle the slightest hint of affection, or any reason to think that I was enamored with her. We talked once, and that was formal, cordial, and uninteresting.
You never held her hand or made vows of love?
As heaven is my witness, I came down to please you, sir. I met the lady without emotion, and I parted without reluctance. Now, I hope you will not prevent me from leaving a house in which I suffered so many humiliations.
I am astonished at his sincerity.
I am astonished at his boldness. It is a deliberate lie.
I would stake my life upon his word.
Well, here comes my daughter. I would stake my life on her word. Kate, come here, child. Answer truthfully. Has Mr. Marlowe made any vows of love to you?
Your question is very abrupt, sir. Yes, I think he has.
You see?
Madam, have you and my son had more than one interview?
Yes, sir.
You see?
And he showed affection
We did, sir.
and spoke of love.
We did, sir.
Amazing. And he was sincere.
Very sincere.
Now, my friend, I hope you are satisfied.
How did he behave, madam?
As most lovers do. He praised my beauty, said he was undeserving of my hand, spoke of my finer qualities, mentioned his heart, gave a short, tragic speech, and ended with pretended rapture.
This cannot be. My son's conversation with women is tongue-tied and awkward. He can barely speak of the weather, much less of love. I sincerely doubt he said any of these things.
Let me convince you, sir. In about half an hour, if you and Papa will hide nearby, you will hear my gentleman declare his
Very well. And if he is as you describe, then my faith in his candor must end.
And if he's not as I describe, I fear my happiness may never begin.
What an idiot I am! To wait for a fellow who probably delights in making a fool of me. He never intended to meet me here, and I will wait no longer. Oh, what do I see? It's him. Perhaps he has news of my countenance. My young friend, you are a man of your word. This looks like friendship.
I am your friend. The best friend you have in the world, if you knew everything. This riding by night is miserable. It's shaking my insides to bits and pieces.
But tell me, where have you left your fellow travelers? Are they safe?
25 miles in 2 hours and a half is not half bad.
But tell me, where have you left the ladies?
Left them? Why, where should I leave them but where I found them?
This is a riddle.
Riddle me this then. What goes round the house and round the house, but never touches the house?
I'm still astray.
Why, that's it, man! I've led them astray! By Jingo, there isn't a pond or marsh within 5 miles of the place, but they can tell the taste of it.
Oh, I understand. You have led them in a circle. While they suppose themselves going forward, you have led them back home again.
Exactly. Exactly. First I took them down Featherbed Lane, then I rattled them over cracking stones of up and down hill. Next I introduced them to the gallows of Heavy Tree Heath, and finally, with a sharp turn, I lodged them in the horse pond at the bottom of the garden.
All without serious accident, I hope.
No. Only Mother is horribly frightened. She thinks herself 40 miles off. She's sick of the journey, and the cow can scarce crawl. So, if your horse is arrested, you may be off with Cousin, and I don't think anyone here will be able to follow you.
My dear friend, thank you. How can I ever thank you?
Oh, sure. Now it's dear friend. When before it was all idiots, numbskull, and run me through the guts. Damn your way at fighting, I say. In this part of the country, after we quarrel, we kiss and be friends.
Oh.
But if you had run me through the guts, then I might be dead, and you might sooner kiss the hangman.
Your rebuke is fair, but I must proceed to Miss Neville. If you'll keep the old lady distracted, I will take care of Constance.
Never fear. Here she comes. Vanish. She's wet, drenched from the pond, and draggled up to the waist like a mermaid.
Oh, Tony! Oh, I am killed, shook, battered. I shall never survive it. That last jolt that landed us in the hedge has finished me off.
My dad, Mama, it is your own fault. You insisted on riding by night without knowing 1 inch of the way.
Oh, I wish we were home. Oh, I've never met with so many incidents in so short a journey. Overturned in a ditch, drenched in the mud, stuck fast in a marsh, jolted to a jelly, and now at last to lose our way. Where do you think we are, Tony?
By my best guess, somewhere near Crackskull Common, about 40 miles from home.
Oh, Lord, the roughest spot in the whole country. Oh, we only lack a robbery to make a complete night of it.
Oh, don't worry, Mama. 2 of the 5 robbers of these parts have been caught and hanged. And with any luck, the other 3 might not find us. Is that a man galloping behind us? No, it's only a tree. Don't be afraid, Mama. Don't be afraid.
Oh, this shall really finish me off. I shall die of fright right here in the dark.
Is that a black cat moving behind that thicket? No, it's only a cow. Don't be afraid, Mama. Don't be afraid.
Oh, I see a man coming towards us, I think. Oh, yes, I'm sure of it. Oh, if he sees us, we're undone.
Father? By all that's unlucky, out for one of his nightly walks. It's a highwayman with pistols as long as my arm. A dangerous-looking fellow if I ever saw one.
Oh, he's coming closer.
Hide behind that bush. Hide behind there and leave me to manage him. If there's any danger, I'll cough and cry. Remember, if I cough, be sure to stay out of sight.
I heard voices.
Aha!
Oh, Tony, is that you? I didn't expect you back so soon. Are your mother and cousin safe?
Oh, very safe, sir. Delivered to my Aunt Pettigrew's door.
Oh, that's the signal for danger.
40 miles in 3 hours? That's too much, young man.
Oh, stout horses and willing minds makes for short journeys, as they say.
Oh, heavens, I'm not harm the poor boy.
But I thought I heard another voice. Is there anyone else here?
I was only talking to myself, sir, saying that we made very excellent time. I seem to have caught in the cold by being out in the night air. If we could just go inside,
But if you were talking to yourself, you did not answer yourself. I'm certain I heard two voices. Who's here?
Oh, he's coming to find me.
If I tell you, will you be quiet, sir? I can explain everything inside.
Explanations are too full of tall tales and half-truths to be believed. I will not be detained. I shall see for myself.
Heavens, he'll murder my poor boy and my darling. Oh, here, good Mr. Highwayman, take your rage out on me. Take my money, my life, but please spare that young gentleman. Spare my child if you have any mercy.
My wife, where did she come from? Why is she here? I believe she's raving mad.
Please, please, good Mr. Highwayman, take our money, our watches, all that we have, but please spare our lives.
I believe the woman is out of her senses. Look, Dorothy, don't you know me? Dorothy.
Oh, Mr. Hardcastle. Oh, I was blinded by fear.
Oh.
Oh, but how could I have expected to meet you here so far from home? Why have you followed us?
Dorothy, surely you have not lost your wits. So far from home, why you're 40 yards from your own door. This is one of your tricks, isn't it? Dorothy, look. Don't you remember the gate and the mulberry tree and the horse pond, my dear?
Yes, I shall remember that horse pond for the rest of my life. I've caught my death in it. This is all you're doing, is it? Oh, I'll teach you to abuse your mother, I will.
Yeah, hold on. Everyone says you spoil me. It's only right that you reap the rewards of it.
Spoil you! Oh, I'll spoil you, I will.
All right.
There's a lot of truth in his reply.
Papa, it's time. Sir Charles.
What a dilemma this is. If what you say is true, my son is guilty of falsehoods. But if what he says is true, then I must lose the one amongst all others I most wish for a daughter.
Patience, Sir Charles, and your dilemma will be resolved. If you and Papa will hide nearby, you will hear my gentleman's declaration of love.
But
All right, Charles, make no noise. Let my Kate unravel this confusion at last.
Here he comes.
I was prepared to go and found I could not leave without a final farewell. The thought of separation is painful. Indeed, until this moment, I did not know how painful.
I believe your sufferings cannot be so great if you are able to leave so easily. Perhaps your sorrows might disappear if I could convince you to stay a day or two longer. You might find that what you thought was valuable was in reality only fool's gold.
This girl impresses me more with every passing moment. It cannot be, madam. I have already risked my heart by staying as long as I have. My good sense begins to be clouded by my affection. The difference between our fortune and education, the disappointment of a parent, and the folly of a union below my station begin to lose their influence. I only hope that distance can remove this ache from my heart and restore me to myself.
Then go, sir. I'll not urge you to stay. Though my family is as good as hers you came down to visit, and my education, I hope, not inferior, what advantages are these without riches? I now see the mockery behind your compliments. You toyed with my affections, when in reality, you only wanted virtue, or you only wanted fortune.
By heaven, madam, while with you, fortune never crossed my mind. It was your beauty that first caught my eye, but every moment I spend with you shows me some new quality that increases your worth. What first seemed rustic plainness now appears refined simplicity. What I first took for forwardness now appears courageous innocence and conscious virtue.
What can this mean? He amazes me.
I told you how it would be. Now, hush.
I have decided, madam. I will stay. I have no doubt that you will win my father's approval when he meets you. Once he knows you, he will love you as I do.
No, Mr. Marlowe, I will not, cannot detain you. Do you think I could agree to a connection in which there was the smallest chance for regret? Do you think I would take advantage of a temporary attraction to trap you into a contract? Do you think I could be happy in a relationship that caused you remorse?
Don't you see, madam? I have no hope of happiness but that which you can grant me. My only regret is not having seen your merits before. I will stay against your wishes. And though you should persist to shun me, I will make amends for the mistakes of my past conduct.
Sir, I must insist you stop. As our acquaintance began, so let it end. An indifference. I've enjoyed our light-hearted banter. But seriously, Mr. Marlowe, do you think I can agree to a connection in which I appear mercenary and you imprudent?
Let me assure you, madam, every moment that shows me your merit only serves to increase my affection and esteem.
I can remain silent no longer. Charles, how you have deceived me. Is this cool, aloof conversation? What have you to say?
What do you mean?
Just that you say and unsay things at the drop of a pen. That you address a lady in private and then in public deny it. That you have one story for us and another for my daughter.
Daughter? This lady is your daughter?
Yes, sir. She is my only daughter, my Kate. Whose else did you think she was?
Oh, the devil.
Yes, sir. That same sentimental, squinting lady you first remember meeting. She who you addressed both as the mild, modest man of gravity, and as the bold, agreeable rattle of the ladies' club.
Sounds, there's no bearing this.
In which of your characters should we note you? How should we address you, sir? As the faltering gentleman with eyes on the ground who speaks just barely loud enough to be heard and hates hypocrisy? Or as the bold, confident creature that keeps company with Miss Mantrap and old Miss Betty Buckskin till 3 in the morning?
Oh, curses on my foolish head. I never yet attempted to be confident, but what my plans backfired. I must be gone.
You shall not leave, sir. I see it was all a mistake, and I rejoice to know it. We'll all forgive you. Have courage, man. I believe my daughter can be convinced. Come on, Kate. Won't you forgive him? Yes, I'm sure she will.
I'll forgive you.
So they have eloped. Let them go, I care not.
Who's gone?
My dutiful niece and her gentleman, Mr. Hastings.
Honest George Hastings, as worthy a fellow as lived, she could not have made a more prudent choice.
Well, he may have taken the lady, but he has not taken her fortune. That remains with this family to console us for her loss.
Surely, Dorothy, you would not be so mercenary.
Aye, that's my affair, not yours.
Of course you know, when he comes of age, if he refuses to marry his cousin, her whole fortune once again reverts to her.
Aye, but he's not of age yet, and she has not thought it proper to wait for his refusal. It's back so soon, I don't like it.
Sir, I repent for my attempt to fly off with your niece. We have now come back to ask for your forgiveness.
In a moment of foolish impulse, I was ready to give up my fortune to secure my choice, but I have now recovered from that delusion. In a moment of passion, fortune may be despised, but there comes a lasting repentance.
Sir, I first courted her with her father's consent, and a deep affection has grown in between us.
That is true.
Let us begin our lives in this moment. Forget fortune. Love and contentment are riches enough for me.
Well spoken, young man.
I appeal to your kindness. Use your influence on my guardian in our behalf.
Pshaw, this is nothing but the whining end of a modern novel.
That may be, perhaps. However, I have heard their entreaty, and I am glad that they have returned. Here, Tony, my boy, do you reject this lady's hand?
What difference would it make? You know I can't refuse her till I'm of age.
Well, your mother convinced me it might be beneficial to keep your age a secret. But since I have found that she turns it to do wrong, I now declare you have been of age these past 3 months.
Of age? Am I of age, Father?
For over 3 months.
Woo! Then you will see the first use of my liberty. All present witness that I, Anthony Lupkin Esquire, refuse you, Constance Neville, spinster, as my lawful wife. Now Miss Neville may marry whom she pleases, and Tony Lumpkin is finally his own man.
Brave Squire.
Worthy friend.
Undutiful child!
My dear George, I sincerely wish you joy. Now, if I can convince my little tyrant here to follow suit and accept me as Miss Neville has done, I would be the happiest man alive.
Come, madam, you have now reached the end of the plot. I'm sure he likes you, and I know you love him. And certainly you must and will have him.
Papa?
And I say so too, Mr. Marlowe. If she makes as good a wife as she has a daughter, I don't believe you will ever regret your decision. So let us go into supper. Tomorrow we shall gather all our friends and neighbors, and the mistakes of the evening shall be crowned with the glory of the morning. So take her, my boy, and although you have been mistaken in the mistress, my wish to you is you never are mistaken in the wife.
Yeah.
And you may have noticed on your way in that there is a clipboard in the lobby as a sign-up sheet for our new email newsletter. So please don't forget to put your information down. If you enjoyed the show, we are here for the next 3 weekends, so please tell your family, tell your friends. If you didn't like the show, tell your enemies.